Okay, Deep Impact on 4K. Yeah, it's good to see this one. This was a favorite of mine back in the day. Definitely a Laserdisc hit for me. Yeah, so let's get into it. I did a review on Reddit for this one, and let's just have a quick look what I said. Deep Impacts on 4K certainly never look better. Resolution and detail are vastly improved over what we've been watching now for years, and this is true. I went back to look at the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is a disaster for me. It's just, again, that transition period between DVD and Blu-ray, there's just so many movies, in my opinion, that look a mess. And we were still in the 2K era, and I mean, like for DIs back then. And I don't know. That's why, I don't know. For me, Blu-ray has been a great format, and it's also been a format where we're in that transition period, and there's so much stuff that I just didn't like. So yeah, for me it was I can't watch it on Blu-ray. So, but the image to me looks over-sharpened. You see this around faces, objects, hard edges, this just around the sides of faces, things like that, and around shoulders. And the image has a gritty look to it. And it does affect the film grain consistency too. It makes, when you sharpen something, it makes film grain look more gritty. And just the whole image look that way. I was impressed by how much detail was visible, but the thing is, the more I watched it, the more I realized that this does look to me just over sharpened. So I don't think it absolutely ruins the disc, but I've thought about reasons why they were doing it. I put it here. It could be source based. It honestly could be. That is the way it was back then. But I am also we also have to bear in mind this is from Paramount, and only just recently we've come off of Planes, Trains and Automobiles on 4K, which was a DNR smudged mess. My first thoughts are: is this a reaction to what people have been saying in the reviews, that when you apply DNR, it makes the image look softer, so we're just going to over sharpen the image? I don't know. I don't know. This could just be a random occurrence. If I saw another Paramount disc that was over sharpened after this one, then I would really start to think that it is a reaction to them applying DNR, getting away with it, and just putting more sharpness in, because you may not be able to see some of the DNR that they're going to be using if you put that sharpness back in, potentially. I don't really know what tools they have nowadays to do all this. But one thing is, though, there was no DNR. I didn't see any of that in this movie, or this transfer, so it was good. I went back to my reference discs. Number one is the Spears and Munsell test disc, and it looked perfect. And I went back to Django, which is my film-based reference disc, and both had that 4K detail, but without looking over-sharpened. So, and then I went back to Deep Impact, and I could see it. It just had that sharpened look. Now, here's one thing to be said about this. If you're on a projector, and I always say this, it's not like I'm picking on projector guys, and I'm not picking on LCD guys, but if you have a projector or an LCD, this look would be softened, so to speak, but it wouldn't be as noticeable. On an OLED, when you can literally see pixels, you can see this type of over-sharpening that happened. But LCD displays, projectors, and everything like that, we are smearing pixels together, and you may not see the differences between one movie to, say, this one. You might sit back and think, wow, this looks really detailed. This is, that is a potential there. Um, but again, on an OLED, you can see I can see exactly what's happening on these discs. So now, to me, the black level felt a little limited. If you remember movies on Laserdisc, VHS, but specifically Laserdisc, that 2.4 gamma, like really heavy black, pure black on a CRT look, this is what they have, where the blacks really, if anything, just go down very, very fast. I'm not sure if I specifically got screenshots to prove that, but you can see it on people's hair and things like that. There's just really no detail in there. It's just somebody's black hair, some woman's black hair I remember seeing, and like, well, there's no detail in that. It just goes down into black too quickly. So you do have that look. I don't love that. Now I do love deep blacks. You know, that's one of the benefits of having an OLED display. But when you're removing detail by going into black too quickly, I just that's just not for me. I just want a balanced image for the most part. So yeah, film grain doesn't resolve absolutely perfectly. This is generally just down to low bit rates. We're in the 60s, maybe into the 70s for megabits per second. For me, if you've got anything shot on film, I want to see it in the low 80s to the high 90s, and if you can get it even higher than that, then the better. Django, for instance, is 95 megabits per second. We're still kind of being held back on Paramount discs by them choosing whether to put things on 66 gig discs or not. I don't see the point. Again, for me, 4K is going to be the last physical format, and I only want movies released on this format once. So get them right in the first place, and you don't need to release an edition again in 5 years' time with it being remastered and do all of this. You don't need to do that. So, release it on a 100 gig disc. Have the bit rates like targeting like 88 megabits per second. Resolve this grain further. Even if the disc is over-sharpened, or even if the movie source itself is over-sharpened, you'd have enough bitrate in there to resolve every, particle of grain. So, yeah, that's it really. The audio didn't get upgraded to Atmos, but as some people have pointed out on Twitter, this is not an all-out action movie, and to be honest, I actually do agree with that. It isn't. The action is really just at the end. To be fair, the movie was floating along, and I looked at the timer of how long the movie has been. I said to my brother, "There's no action yet. There's nothing has actually happened in the form of pure action. It's just been a building story up until this point." So maybe giving it an Atmos mix might have been a little overkill, but I will say this. Everybody is obviously going to watch this last section of the movie to see what's going on with the sound and everything like that, and to me it just didn't have the deep impact, it just didn't have the impact that I wanted. I am used to now modern movies for sound, the Batman, Dune, that type of bass. I want that type of bass. Now I know you can say, well, this is how old movies sounded. Sure, you can do that. But I think you can do a really nice restoration on audio and keep the integrity of the original sound by just tweaking a few things. Number one is bass. Bass back in the day, it could be all over the place. So just retuning the subwoofer for most new mixes, older movies but new releases on 4K, I think should be done. So, because to me, when this hit, I wanted slam and I didn't get it. So, and I have my subs hot. You know, when the Batman starts his car in the rain scene and everything, my whole room is shaking, and I didn't get that from this movie. So, you know, apart from all the video stuff, if they got the audio like completely nailed it, you know, it would help. So, you know, dialogue volume is good. That I didn't find any issues. But yeah, the surrounds again with this movie, they're really just used as support. You know, even in the big scene, you know, it just it was mostly frontal. So overall, though, I gave the video a 4.25 out of 5, which I think is fair. The disc does. I think the disc looks decent, and overall, I do think Paramount have done a good job here. Right, they have. But for me, if I see things that remind me of something that is digital, sharpening of any kind, DNR, artifacts, blocking, all of that, I tend to pull my score down very quickly. I can't have that. If you're in search of good picture quality, you know, I can't have these. I can't have these things. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and buy the disc, and maybe my reviews infer that, but you know, for me, there's just certain things in video I can't stand, and I have to bring the score down. Okay, so let's go full screen here. I took some screenshots, and now the first thing, YouTube's really going to be bad for this, and it depends what size screen you're watching it on and everything like that. Now, there is a noisy grain here, right? And to me, even in this screenshot, it just looks overdone to me. This looks overdone. It looks, now his face, you could say, well, it looks perfectly sharpened. But the thing is, what suffers sometimes is the film grain itself. Having to resolve all of this extra noise now because you've sharpened when you sharpen, you're also sharpening the film grain, and to me this looks slightly now noisy. It's okay, you know, it's okay. Generally speaking, though, look what we have here. We do have excellent detail. Color grading as well looks really nice in HDR compared to SDR. SDR again was a complete mess. I couldn't watch it. I put it on for like 5 minutes just to check a few scenes here and there. I never normally do that, never normally have to do that. I only did it because of the sharpness increased look that this 4K had. I wanted to check it out on the Blu-ray as well. But yeah, the Blu-ray for me is a disgusting mess. Really, really nice. Excellent color, good vibrancy, everything like that. If anything, there is slightly over-sharpened grain here. Not a big deal, though, to be honest. And at this point, because this is still early in the movie, I was still like gaining my bearings about what really is going on with this image. Excuse me. But again, sharpness really, really good. Potential ringing around here because of the sharpening. We've got some fizzing here. Not really. It's not going to be noticeable on an LCD or a projector, that's for sure. And even this screen I'm using on this laptop is LCD, so it's like, and a lot smaller than what I'm used to. So now looking back at the screenshots, sometimes it's actually hard to say, well, it actually looks okay on here, you know. So yeah. So, but yeah, really good. You know, really not. It's they've done a good job. Nice color. A film artifact here. It's got that glow. Also, slight color bleeding here, red and maybe blue on this side. Things like that. I actually like film-based artifacts. There's like a glow around these trees too. Amount of lightness, the brightness, sorry, in this shot. The light that we're collecting, really, really good. This for me is really a look that I don't think you can get on digital. It's just, I don't know. There's a look of digital that I don't know, I just can't explain it. It just doesn't have that true filmic look, and they're dying to get digital cameras to look like film, and it's I just don't think it can be done yet anyway. So yeah, I mean, look at this. We have excellent detail, good lighting. Yeah, I mean, it looks really, really nice. It's just on your display compared to other movies. I know how I knew I started to get this idea of it's sharp. You know, there's almost too much detail here, and again, difficult to see in just a still non-moving image. Very, very difficult to see. But look, overall, still, it is very good. You know. So, yeah. Now things like this, like just a black of detail. Now this wasn't actually the shot I was talking about, where it kind of crushed blacks early. But this might be an example of later on in a movie, in the movie, where I see things like this, where there's just no detail here whatsoever. You know. So there is noise up here, but I know my camera is there. If I have to, I'll move my camera to the other side. But yeah. Now this scene specifically was incredibly inconsistent. So you have some soft shots like this, right? And you have ringing here around here. And at this point I'm like, which is going to be difficult to see maybe again on different screen sizes. So there is ringing around here. And I think this ringing is caused by, number one is actually the camera itself and some sharpening that's going on. Now, I was trying to find... Now, if you look at the sharpness, generally speaking, of this scene, to me, the sharpness of this scene would be what I would consider for the age of this movie around normal, right? It looks to me normal, bordering on probably soft. Then we get to this shot and I'm like, bow, bang. I'm like, whoa, there is definitely some edginess and detail coming that is too punchy with this transfer or whatever they've done. I can see noise as well in the background here, and you get this from when you over sharpen grain. Look, I know this is small, but the thing is, this is the stuff I notice when I'm watching a movie on screen. You know, never remind me that this is digital. You know, that's again my thing. So there is ringing here, and there is color bleed around her hair. But now for me, this is where I absolutely knew. I'm like, what is going on with the sharpness? Now this is edge enhanced. I'm calling it edge enhancement, but they probably call it a different tool now. It's just sharpening, you know. This to me looks edge enhanced, right? There's white ringing around her hair, around here. And I had to go back to this scene because when I watched it for the first time, I was like, yeah, they've done something here. To be fair, this does exist on the Blu-ray as well, which is leaning me to believe that it is the source. But, you know, if the source contains a certain particular style and look, that is fine, you know, it is fine. But the thing is, under my parameters, you could say, of what I think is good picture quality, it doesn't involve this. So, you know, this is just my thing. I don't like that. Now I can see other people reviewing this disc at 4.5 out of 5. I wouldn't go as high as 5, but I could. I mean, my review is 4.25 out of 5, almost with respect to the age of the film, and that's what this is. Now, if you reviewed it in a way and you said, well, this is what the source is, and I think they did a fabulous job, and I don't think the movie could look better, and it looks much better than the Blu-ray, the disc is a 5 out of 5, and that's not the way I review. I'm not going to review that way. I'm just not. When it has things like this, and Django, a spaghetti western, does not have this. I just, I have to differentiate this difference between good discs of what I think is good discs, and discs that I don't think look as good. I just have to have that. Not everything can be 4.5, 5, or right in that area. But again, it doesn't mean that I don't think you should buy this disc. This is the best it's ever looked. And again, the Blu-ray stinks, in my opinion. Absolutely stinks. Color grading looks absolutely horrible. It actually looks soft and edgy at the same time. So it's terrible. But again, 4K, you have it in the best. This is as good as the movie can look. I don't think Paramount did a terrible job on the transfer either. I think it was good. At the worst, there is minor grain inconsistency from it not resolving grain correctly. Again, they should have used a 100 gig disk, shoot for a lot higher bit rates. A lot of companies still are not doing this. Great. I mean, obviously it's lit, it's got spotlights on him. But generally, the movie has a good look. It's pulling out tons of color, light, and everything like that. I do like the look. There is a film glow here. I see it. It's just definite film glow, unless it's my eyes. My glasses must be foggy today. I don't know. Yeah. Now, to me, again, there is a slight look of over-sharpened grain here because we are introducing other noise into the image that is not film grain. Now, let me just check one thing. Where is my camera? Let's put it here for a sec. I go back, and see, there is extra noise in here. Now, I know a lot of this is actually film grain, but when you see it moving, I can tell it's like fizzed out almost, is what I call it. It's just extra grain that's been applied. So I think my camera will be okay there now. So yeah. Okay. Same thing, really. Excellent detail, gorgeous color, really is. There is grain here again on this wall. No, I'm gonna have to put my camera back, aren't I? Where is it? Yeah, let's just stick it here now. Okay. This wall here, the grain can't resolve properly on these walls. And again, grain is difficult to resolve on man-made structures, like anything that is equally the same all the way through. Seeing grain on people's faces and noise here is extremely difficult because there is dynamics there. There's different color. There's lighting. There's all of that. But on the simple things here in these corners, I can tell it's just overdone. So it's a double-double. You've got slightly, what I would say is low average bit rates for encoding film grain. Then you sharpen film grain, or the source has that look of over sharpened. And then you can't resolve the grain as well. So it's kind of, again, it's just something I don't particularly like. Alright, lighting. Excellent. Just gorgeous amounts of color. This is, again, something Blu-ray just can't do. Cannot do it. And retain a filmic look like this. It's the 8-bit color. Yeah, it just can't. It just cannot pick the correct colors on Blu-ray. So, really, really nice. Now, I just wanted to take this shot again to compare to modern movies. Now, we are overexposed here, but again, a lot of movies pre 2004, 2005, once we started really getting into digital cameras, They started to lose this look, and we really started getting heavily into digital color grading. And I think they pull too much light out of the shots on digital cameras. Digital cameras cannot collect as much light as real film cameras. They just can't. Then you color grade it in the same way you'd color grade film, but you don't have the same light levels, and it just looks duller. That's my big thing. Now we do have extra noise in this corner here. Things aren't quite resolving in a perfect manner, I would say. You know, wanted to get an idea for black levels and things like that. But slight glow again on film. For the most part, gorgeous detail, you know, disregarding the sharpness thing. It is gorgeous detail, you know, extremely well lit, excellent. It does look good, a lot of the time actually. Really nice. Good shot. I'm looking at these walls again though, and then anything that is simple, but it's okay, you know, it's good. Very nice shot, really nice. These mountains look incredible. I would love to see that in person. Nice warm orange color grading as well here. We've got slight bleeding on the tree here. Just typical film-based artifacts I am fine with. This shot as well, it doesn't look particularly over-sharpened. You've got that filmic, almost filmic soft look, which is sometimes better, I think. Yeah, just taking some other shots here. Nothing very specific. Tending to watch here as well, just to see how grain is resolving. Slightly overdone again, but not bad. Really nice shot here as well. Excellent detail on his face. I do love shots like this, just character focused. Excellent. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really good to see this movie again. Again, good detail, excellent color. Again, we can't do this on 4K. There's number one, there's just too much detail. There's too much richness here. Way too much richness. It just looks like a sloppy mess, Blu-ray. And that's not giving Blu-ray its full appreciation. I think when someone goes out of their way to make Blu-ray look good, just on 1080p, it can look excellent. But I believe this was an old transfer on the Blu-ray, and yeah, I'm not watching that, not on Blu-ray. 4K, I'll perfectly accept. Hey, you know what? There's some sharpening going on. The movie is fun. I enjoyed the movie. Wanted better sounds, but hey, it's a good movie. It's a good movie to own on 4K. You know, so. Some nice shots here where she's going down to the beach to see her dad. Whew. There's some 1998 special effects going on here, boys. I mean, look at this. It's a lot of fun actually. Some of these special effects. There's minor bit depth errors here, but nothing really, and banding, but nothing too heavy. So, I mean, these special effects. Pretty good, you know, for 1998. You know, you got to remember this was before The Matrix. So for me, there's movies that these are when the special effects I don't know what to say, milestones. Yeah, milestones happened. Jurassic Park, 1993, I think. 93, 94, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was 93, right? That was, for me, number one. I know there was a lot of the special effects stuff before that. I'm just saying that when this kind of modern era of special effects, Jurassic Park was one. What was next? The Matrix, sorry. That just pushed the boundary of what could be done on film. I mean, that was incredible to see. That jump in special effects quality was just incredible. And for me, the next one is Avatar 2009, right? Once we got to Avatar 2009, to me, I haven't seen. I know you get into the point where you get to now diminishing returns on special effects, but many movies over the last 10 years, 10 years since that was released, did not look better than Avatar for special effects. They just did not. Why? Because more care was taken with the effects themselves. The way they color grade digital photography as well, it was just better in Avatar than hundreds of other movies that they spew out digital, over the top digital special effects today. So, and the new one, the new Avatar, they've just fine-tuned and made things more crisp on the new movie. So that's just the way I see the special effects that have come through. And to be fair, this was, this was when I was younger. I was like, yeah, let's go, these special effects, But you see these buildings fall down, and it's, it's okay. Nice shot, good color grading. It just, again, it does look like film. It looks like film color grading. It really does. We're not held back by an 8-bit format. We're in 10-bit now. HDR as well for more depth in color and dynamics. Really good. Yeah, I think this is my final shot here. Good. So lots of brightness here. Again, it does look like film. If they shot this today, it wouldn't look anywhere near as good. Not in my opinion. So yeah, some good, some bad, right? For me. Now again, if you're on an LCD and you're on a relatively small screen, under 65 inches, I would say, if you're into your 55s, I don't think you're really going to see this extra sharpening or anything like that. Number one, the screen is smaller. Two, you've got a display format that smears, blurs, and is not absolute in any way. So I wouldn't necessarily see an issue there, and I'm not sure how. I don't think you see film grain resolve perfectly on those displays anyway. So I think it would be a good looking disc for those displays, projectors and things like that. I think it would be fine. I really do. I'm just looking for something a little different. And again, I know I keep saying this a lot, but this is why I have an OLED, because I want to see what is almost happening on a pixel by pixel basis, almost. You have that level of detail. Where are my blacks? Where are my whites? What is happening with noise, film grain, and anything, the color? How are things lit? I would just want that definition that the other display formats can't. They just can't display. Now, I'm not putting your display down. I'm not here to completely disrespect anyone that's had or uses displays like that. I've owned them all. I've owned LCD TVs. I mean, I'm sure everybody has. Projectors, DLP, and LCD. I've owned them all, and it's just I've got to this point now where I want that dynamic punch look, detailed sharpness that you do get from an OLED. So I do. Me personally, I think it's the display that you should review on, because it gives you that level of accuracy and consistency that I want, right? So yeah. Um, Now, I've seen a few people respond and they say, hey, I'm going to hold off then, I'm not going to buy this disc. Now, I guess you could, again, you can infer that from my review of I didn't like this and I didn't like that. I do tend to point out the parts that I don't like more than I guess what I really love as well. There is a lot to pick out that I didn't like. But with that said, I think Paramount have done a good job on the transfer. Again, up to the point where grain doesn't quite resolve well, but it's not a big distraction. It really isn't. The only thing for me again is the over sharpening, and I saw it really from start to finish. So now I'm not a fan of it, but this movie, I don't think you're going to find this movie looking better anywhere else. Like in the next 5 years, where else are you going to see this movie actually look better? Well, you're not going to see it looking better on a stream, that's for sure. It's just not going to happen. It's impossible. This is still at a good level. You know, relatively speaking, 4.25 is not a bad looking movie. It's not terrible. There's just little small things here and there that I'm pulling it down for that I just personally didn't like. So yeah, look, that's my thoughts on Deep Impact 4K. Small minor things. I don't think it should hold you back from enjoying this movie. If you really like this movie and say you read my review and you're like, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to bother now, I wouldn't say that. Now, maybe if you weren't the biggest fan but you kind of wanted to see it still, maybe wait for a deal somewhere. You know, maybe a Black Friday deal, something like that, and you're like, yeah, now it's time to buy. And I think you're going to be, I think, generally speaking, I think you're going to be happy with the purchase. I really do. I think it's a fun movie, really good to see again. And generally speaking, I think Paramount are in a decent spot, as long as they didn't oversharpen this, and it was a reaction to that. I am seeing some light down the end of the tunnel for Paramount, though. I think they are doing better transfers. I think this was proof that, with my little things aside, generally speaking, their transfers look decent. I don't think we're now up to Warner Brothers level. Warner Brothers, for me, have stepped up now. They release discs, and pretty much every disc I review from them is 4.5 out of 5. They've really stepped up, definitely. Poltergeist, The Lost Boys. I know there's some others, but I can't really remember them now. That was a bit from last year, and I noticed, I'm like, these are really good transfers. Like, they're doing excellent stuff. So Paramount may be in this transitional phase right now of maybe deciding on how they want to do things. Number one, though, I don't care how long a movie is for the most part. Start putting discs on 100 gig. You can resolve film grain better, and this is what I want to see. I want to see everything. I want to see everything. So I don't want to be held back. Why am I being held back on a physical format? I have this much disk space and bitrate available to use everything. That's what I want. That reveals the best picture quality, and that's the way I think everybody should go forward. Don't encode to a particular standard, or we've reached 80%, nobody else can see that, and only a few people will be able to see it. We're happy with this level. Never be happy with the level of quality that you're producing. Always try and go as high as you possibly can. Reach for more, always. And again, this format, I'll be honest, I don't think we need an 8K format anyway, at least not for the foreseeable future. It's streaming, it's just straight up not possible with the amount of bitrate compression that you would actually need to do it. And for me, 4K reveals enough detail to the point where what's 8K actually going to give me? So this is why I think this should be the last physical format, because it's the best one. We have 10-bit color, we have HDR, we have enough bit rate up to 100, but generally speaking, I think people push. I've heard you can push around to 98 and a half, maybe 98. That's why I encode my little things that I do, trailers and some open source stuff at 98, just to be sure. And you can make things what I would call visually lossless at those bit rates. That's this format. That's why I don't think you don't need other formats. This is it. This is the pinnacle of what we have. Just don't hold back bitrate though. Don't do that. So, okay, that's my little spiel out the way. Yeah, so that's Deep Impact. Really enjoyed it. Fun movie. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you seen this? Am I too harsh? If you don't have an OLED display, do you notice that sharpening happening as much? I'm always after people leaving their feedback on these videos, and just generally, what did you think to the release? If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. I try and get back to everybody. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day.